before me in this very basket is the best Korean beauty of 2025. Now, some of these are long year favorites, like since the beginning of my channel. However, I actually tried out an insane amount of excellent Korean beauty this year as well, so you guys actually might be surprised by some of these newer favorites. So if you were wondering, the absolute best of the best out of basically everything that I've tried, this video is for you. And it is very kindly sponsored by YesStyle. They're one of my favorite partners because they just give me complete creative freedom. And I was like, well, might as well do a best of beauty. End of the year is here. Let's do a best of Korean beauty 2025. So I will leave you all my coupon code right here, and they are having Black Friday deals all month long. I'll leave more details down below as well as a link. You can get quite a few of these items on sale. There is a lot here, so we should probably dive in. Also, as always, I will have timestamps for you guys because this is going to be a long video. This was the year of the collagen face mask for me, and the Biodance Real Collagen Deep Mask was my favorite of the year. I just loved the way it depuffed and kind of tightened up my skin. I've been noticing a lot of puffiness in the mornings, and this has been one of the only face masks that really takes care of it and leaves my skin with almost this like kind of tight and bright look. But it kind of gives a different effect, a very glass kind of skin effect. It makes your skin more difficult to move around, so when you have it on for 20 or 30 minutes, by the time it comes off, your face kind of has this really glassy sheen that actually lasts. Now, for more hydration, that's when you would probably be better off going with the Hydroceranol Deep Real Mask. This one is going to be more deeply nourishing. This one is more for like a special event, really kind of tight and bright look to the skin. And I tried out a lot this year. I'm just gonna say that. My skin went through it to find the best of the best, and I think that these are absolutely worth any of the hype that they get. And for moisturizer, my top moisturizer that I used all year is actually a tie between the Dynasty Cream from Beauty of Joseon and the Astura Aloe Barrier Cream. The Dynasty Cream is really replenishing, deeply hydrating, whereas the Astura is better for true moisture. For me personally, I don't think the Dynasty Cream is great for use under makeup. I do find it will pill under makeup, and I like to really layer this on, so as you keep layering and layering, you're way more likely to have something like this pill under your makeup. But I don't think that all skincare needs to look good under makeup in order to be good. I just use this when I'm not wearing makeup or at nighttime, and I really have found that on days when I think my skin is dry, it's not necessarily lacking in oil, it is lacking in water and in hydration in my actual skin barrier. And this is what does a really good job of kind of balancing my skin. And for oily skin, you gotta check that one out because I just feel like that would be your ultimate night cream. But for the daytime and really all year round, I love the Astura Aloe Barrier. I have repurchased this multiple times. It is an absolutely stunning product that I have heard people talk about, but I just think that it deserves so much more love because it is affordable but really performs the same way that a lot of these really high-end moisturizers, and you need very little to get a really deeply nourished effect. And it's not a really greasy product either. The Zero Pore Pads, this is essentially what I would use in a toner step. So I would wash my face and then immediately use this. And these Medicube Zero Pore Pads, I gotta tell you, I was nervous about trying these. They have AHAs and BHAs, which that is my kind of secret weapon, is pairing BHAs with PHAs or AHAs. It's about kind of clearing out the dead skin while also using an exfoliant to actually take care of the oil. So using a 2-in-1 kind of product like this that has been formulated specifically for that, again, as you start mixing a lot of different products together that are exfoliators, you really run the risk of wrecking your skin barrier. This does an excellent job of keeping my actual dead skin cleared, but also taking care of the pore itself. And that's why a really well formulated pore pad exfoliating toner like this That is why they get so much hype that they do, is because they're really taking care of so many different steps in one. I love these, you know, Medicube this year, oh, the amount of hype they have got. And not every product from Medicube I love. I absolutely love these. And of course, you guys know the Haru Haru Wonder Probiotics Barrier Essence. This is my holy grail now for over a year. The Black Rice Probiotics Barrier Essence has done more for my skin than a lot of crazy rich creams. This does such a beautiful job of really nourishing the skin, imparting both moisture and hydration. But the reason it's so different is that you can just layer on a couple layers of this and your skin is so deeply replenished, but it's just so freaking lightweight. So I have personally found that I'm not using super rich creams anymore. I am layering thinner creams, essences, toners, and finding that my skin has been doing incredible as far as actually repairing the skin barrier. And that was a huge change in the way I approached my skincare, and I have seen kind of the best results that I've seen in a while. Now for sunscreen, I have a lot of actual new favorites, but I did still want to mention this one as my holy grail, the Isntree Hyaluronic SPF 50. The reason being is I still think that it's an incredibly underrated product for the, again, deep hydration that it gives the skin without it being an overly greasy product. Now, this is not like a matte finish, so if you are into your sunscreens giving you more of a silky matte kind of finish, that's when I would go recommend you guys check out my recent Asian sunscreen video, because that's going to give you kind of a big overview of sunscreens. That's a really, really good place to start, but I still think that this, as far as Korean sunscreens, is one of the best. And I still think that it would get along with so many different skin types. Oh my god, I almost forgot to tell you guys, the Tier Collagen Lifting Eye Gel. This is my eye cream of choice. You guys always ask me about my eye cream because you know how I feel about taking care of my under eyes, the fact that I have hollowness under my eyes, darkness. I love this one specifically because it's not going to give me milia, which is so important to me. It's very hydrating, it's bouncy, it's plushy. I can use it morning or night. And for me, I love the depuffing feel of it. This feels rich, but not too rich. You can see you just like squeeze this up, then you roll it onto the under eye. I don't often feel super strongly about eye creams, so the fact that I feel this way about this one says a lot. This has absolutely become a holy grail for me. It has peptides and collagen, so it's not like a retinol active. Like I wouldn't think of this too much as an active, though for me personally, I do find that it really helps the resilience of my skin, which I think is number one. Before you jump into like a heavy duty retinol under the eyes, I think first it's just good to make sure that the skin barrier and your skin under your eyes is really resilient and strengthened. And that's what I have been focusing on with this year. For foundation, I'm still, after all these years, after all the products I tried, I'm still going to give it to the Misha Perfect Cover BB Cream. I am wearing the shade 21. I actually have the travel size. No, I actually have two tubes. Where is it? I always keep a bunch on hand. This is the shade 21, and this is my closest shade. So there's the shade 13, 23, and 21. These are the ones I have tried, and yeah, 13, a little bit too light, 23, a little bit too dark. I say 21 is probably the closest for me. Shade ranges are just not super expansive, but I always come back to it because it gives me this true creamy, soft focused, hydrated look. It doesn't want to cling to dry patches, to wrinkles, to texture. It gives a very lovely, breathable medium coverage. It doesn't feel like a lot of creamy, heavy looking coverage once it's on, which is really my favorite kind of foundation. You know, one that will give me coverage, but it's also not going to make my skin look really heavy with product. And it just has this really lovely kind of fresh facial glow. And I really, really love products like that. I've loved it 4 years. Again, like we're talking 7 to 8 years here. I am, however, going to give an honorable mention to another product. This is a newer brand that I tried out this year. I believe the brand is literally called Glow. Their BB cream, even worse shade range, it almost reminds me of like the Chantecaille foundation. Just such a lovely satiny glow to it. But the product that I wanted to mention as my holy grail for this video, even though I love that one, is their concealer. The Not Dry Concealer Dual Concealer. I didn't want to buy this for a while, but I finally pulled the trigger and it was as I expected. It is that perfect, creamy, hydrated under eye with a great amount of coverage that doesn't look dry, weird, cakey, and gives me the brightness that I need for my hollow under eyes, which so many concealers do not. And that has been consistent through K-beauty and Western beauty, you know, just over and over and over again. A lot of concealers do not work for me, but this is one where I would highly recommend just taking a small amount, putting it under the eyes if you just want kind of a no makeup look. It's just a very fresh, pretty effect. You know, something else I really like about it is that you get 2 different colors with it. You have kind of a corrector and a concealer shade. This is the number 1. They also have like a white one. This brand is very confusing, but the formulas themselves are very skin loving. Now, shall we talk about blush? So I want to talk about the combo. I have 2 blushes on my cheeks today. I've never paired them together, but it kind of reinvigorated all of the reasons why I knew I loved these blushes. So I first used this powder blush from Nature Republic. This is so cheap. Like, a lot of these products are insanely cheap. The fact that I can get this blush for $5 just kind of, it's insane to me. So this is the By Flower blusher in the shade Praha Dahlia. It just looks like such a nothing kind of shade, but it really warms up once you actually get it onto the skin to this really lovely soft peach. It has the blurring kind of formula that I wish for when I see formulas like this. So there are some blurring formulas that just look a little bit heavy on the skin with the amount of blur they give. This is a soft focused effect that still looks natural. I used this on my sister on her wedding day. We used a little bit of liquid blush and then topped this off. Just fantastic. There's a naturalness, there's a subtlety to these that I think makes them not the sexiest product around, but one of those je ne sais quoi, something is different about your makeup, overall impactful kind of look. I highly, highly recommend them. I think that this is a winner that, again, I don't hear anyone talking about. I just find myself going back to it over and over and over. And the other blush that I used on top of that was the Lily by Red Love Beam Cheek Balm. This is the 01 shade. So this, to me, this is like a brightening blush. So if you want to use this just for a soft cheek look all over the cheeks, almost as a base layer for your blush. I know a lot of people have been talking about blush draping. This is what I add on top of my cheekbones, or even just kind of at a little bit above the apple of the cheek. And I don't know how to describe it other than it gives me cheekbones I don't have. It gives me this kind of like plush cheek look. It adds that brightness. It is, again, another one of those like secret weapon products in my routine when I feel like my entire makeup look looks flat. This a little bit just right on the cheeks and everything pops. Everything comes alive. I look more awake, like my green eyes pop. And they have different shades that are going to work for different undertones. So if like you have a warm skin tone around me, 01 is going to be really lovely on you. And that's kind of like, you see that like bit of brightness right there? That is this product. It sticks where you place it and does not move. It has longevity. So even though there are some of these really emollient fluid kind of products that feel really kind of like cosmetically elegant, I like to say, or like, you know, just feels expensive. This is one of those kind of like, you're not expecting much maybe from a product like this, and then somehow it like delivers on longevity, je ne sais quoi, extra bonus points. It's phenomenal, phenomenal. And this was a product that over and over again, when I went to Korea, people were recommending it. And I see why. I am fully on team Lily by Red, especially the Love Balms. But you guys know my long running favorite, the Fui pudding pots. I feel like the Fui pudding pots are a mixture between the Nature Republic as well as the Lily by Red. So it has the blurring quality of the Nature Republic product, like that kind of powdery feel. Like obviously this is a putty, but it kind of goes down to this powdery smoothing look. So it has that quality, but then, like the Lily by Red, that kind of smooth impact that it gives the cheeks, that kind of creaminess, that's what is more reminiscent of the Lily by Red. Personally, my favorite really way to use them is to just throw them on the cheeks and the lips all in one. It kind of immediately pulls together a look. I don't even have to think about it. Just the smoothness, the kind of even look of any pores or texture on the cheeks. Really, always a favorite. Let's talk about the eyes. This category I am very excited about because I have some newer favorites that I think that you guys are going to be so excited to hear about. But first, a favorite that I have absolutely talked about before are the Laka mono eyeshadows. As far as K-Beauty single shadows, this has been my most favorite since I tried them this year. Like, since I tried them, it's been kind of difficult for me to want to recommend other single shadows that K-Beauty brands come out with because, you know, I've tried a lot. A lot of them are duds. Like, I get them in the mail and I'm like, what is this? These are the wet sparkly top coats that I'm always looking for and hunting for on YesStyle. So I picked up a lot of the different shades. They are almost reminiscent of, if you guys have tried like the Natasha Denona Chroma Crystal top coats, they're almost reminiscent of that, just drier and obviously not like in a pot. But performance-wise, that is what they are the most similar to me like. And they all have different base pigments, but they're all very sheer base pigments with, of course, the wet glossy sparkles throughout. I would say personally that if you are looking for just a wet sparkly glossy top coat, varying slight differences in the undertone, these are like such an incredible bang for your buck. Laka is one of those brands that I gotta try more from them. And this was the first product from them I was like, holy cow. Like, specifically the shade Glory is, to me, a really lovely, just glossy, peach wet looking eyeshadow. And because they have a little bit of a plushness to them, it's not like plushy, but you know, they have a little give to them, similar to like an Urban Decay Moonda shadow. That give and that slip really makes them want to apply to the eyes really readily. They're not like an overly dry formula, and I like a product that wants to immediately stick to the eyes, adheres well, and doesn't, like if I have dry skin and I put one of these on and it looks worse, I'm not gonna want to recommend it. Wet eyeshadow lovers should be aware. Oh, and by the way, the shade Liberty from Laka, this is like the most lovely, grungy, wet looking glitter. Like very, very much giving luxury as far as that sparkle. The quality is just insane. I also have two newer favorites from Romand, and these are the Slide and Single eyeshadows from Romand, and these are the two shades that I have bought that I absolutely love. So earlier this year, I picked up the Mauve Dough shade, and it quickly just became that perfect one and done, creamy matte eyeshadow. It is very, very similar to a lot of the Western Beauty expensive eyeshadows, like in the quality, in the pigment, the creaminess, all of it. It has a lovely blur to it. In general, I just find that it is skin loving as far as eyeshadows go. Like, you know, a lot of matte eyeshadows, matte powders look weird on the eyes if you have dry skin or maybe you have more mature skin. And this just has this really lovely softening quality and blends like freaking nothing. Like it just is so foolproof, and that's what I love about it. And the shade is just really pretty for green eyes, but it's still like not super saturated, which I like. You know, a lot of people recommend like deep eggplant for green eyes, but I think something even as subtle as this can really make them pop. The shade that I bought while I was in Korea is G02 Butter Ring, and this is what is on my eyes today as like the shimmery wet glossy top coat. I actually did use the Mauve Dough, but that wet looking eyeshadow is this shade, Butter Ring. It's so fantastic. Again, it's pretty similar to something like Space Cowboy from Urban Decay, but I like it because it's even more, there's like a softness to it. The particles are even finer. It's a slightly more powder like formula than those. Like this feels more like a powder than like the Laka shadows do, but something happens when it goes on the eyes. It just kind of, it's wet looking eyeshadow, but taken down a notch in a really lovely kind of approachable everyday way. And I personally see feedback from you guys that you want kind of wet looking eyeshadows, but you sometimes don't want the ones that immediately read as a lot of glitter. Now this is a glitter, but it's subdued. It's taken a step down almost just to give this really soft reflection. And that's what I really love about it. These two shades, they just are doing something excellent. And these formulas are better than any of the Roman palettes that I have tried. So I think they're doing something different with these. I think the quality shows it. It was one of the favorites of my entire haul when I went to Korea, so highly recommend. And then finally, as far as eyeshadows go, this has been a favorite this has been a favorite for a while actually. It's the Clio Latte Senior palette. Now they have a lot of different Pro Air palettes, but the reason I love this one is, to me, it's like these are like setting blurring powders in a variety of different shades and undertones. I would say think of this almost as a highlight, contour, bronzing, blushing palette for your eyes. That's the best way I could think to describe it, because somehow it does everything. You will be able to get just a lovely structured matte look to your eyes that looks professional with very little effort. They offer this creamy blur to the skin. I can kind of like create an entire shape on the eyes without it looking like I necessarily tried. The smoothness of the formula, the quality of the shadows in all of these varying shades makes it so when you're building out a look, everything melts together so fantastic. Like, again, I think some of the most lovely K-beauty products are the understated ones that like people aren't gonna really go crazy about, but they're doing something that makes an entire makeup look like it just takes it to the next level. These are kind of like those secret weapon products. Let's go ahead and talk about the lips, because this is over and over and over one of the hardest categories for me to talk about holy grails about, because basically I think Korea is coming out with the best lip products in the world. Like, I'm not even exaggerating here. So let's first talk about the best lip gloss I've ever tried, and they are the Fui volumizing glosses. They are the most plush, the glossiest, the most fill in the lines of your lips looking lip gloss that does not feel like incredibly waxy, sticky gloss. They just create the most plush, juicy lip look. Again, I can't even tell you guys, I have tried, oh gosh, if you could look at my lip gloss collection, part of the reason I don't even do a best of lip gloss video anymore is that these are the best. They are just the best. There is no formula that I think is better than these on the market, period. And I love almost every single shade I've ever put on. And you know, Fui has come up with the incredible idea of coming out with 30% and 70% saturations for their lip products. So if you want more saturation, you can very easily go that route, or you can also go for a more sheer version. For example, vanilla 30% is like the perfect nearly nude kind of gloss for me. But in the summer, when I really want like a coral pop, I'll go for Sorbet 70%. But you know, for this look, this is when I would probably go for like Scotch 30%, just to add a little bit of glossiness to a matte lip look like this. I really don't think that you're gonna go wrong with whatever shade you choose, with whatever saturation, because again, there just is not a single one that is of poor quality, that doesn't have a really, really interesting, nuanced shade. They just blow my mind every time I use them. You know, I've been testing out a lot of drugstore lip balms, which I'm not gonna lie is probably the reason why my lips are not doing well right now. These are more nourishing and hydrating than a lot of those true like lip balm supposed to be reparative products. Just throwing it out there. But if you do want a true like glossy squeezy tube lip balm kind of thing, if you are into like, you know, Summer Fridays lip butter balm, that's when I would go with the gloss balms from Unleashia. These have a really lovely balminess to them. This shade in particular, Malibu, is I think their lightest shade, but it's non-sticky, very plush on the lips, and it really sticks and lasts. Like it really forms that protective barrier that you need in a lip product like this. I just think that there are brands like Laneige, if you've seen their Glaze Craze balms, like please just skip that and go straight to something like this, because I was not expecting to love this as much as I do, and I think that they absolutely killed it with this formula. I also love the Tony Moly Get Glazed balm. This is the shade 01, and this has way more pigment. Think of it almost like a glossy, shiny, thicker lipstick, because it has the pigmentation level of a lot of lipsticks, but it's just so glossy. Again, it has a grip to it, so it's not gonna move around. You don't have to worry about that. And it just looks plush on the lips. You know, with products like this, with products like the Unleashia or even the 3D glosses from Flee, I just need my lips to look plush. I don't want them to look smaller, drier, more wrinkly, or even feel like that once they've started to fade off. That one just consistently looks really incredible. For a matte lip, it's what is on my lips today. They are the Acute Fixing tints. So I have two different shades, but the one I'm wearing today is Baked Pecan. Think of these as what everyone probably wished the 2016 liquid lipsticks would be. These are slightly sheerer. They're not quite as intense with creaminess, with pigment. They don't feel necessarily like complete matte intensity thick paints. They're subtler, they're thinner. I think that they are more blurring, but they also don't look pasty and thick on the lips. They last really well. So they're just really lovely if you do enjoy something more matte, something that's going to last longer. I'm pretty sure these have been around for a long time, but I only discovered them in the last couple of years, and just since then I just can't get enough. But absolutely, certainly not least, we have the Romand Juicy Lasting Tint. I love the shade Pomelo Skin. It is my holy grail. It is the lip I used on my sister on her wedding day. As you guys can see, I used quite a lot of K-Beauty on her for her wedding day. Just a lot of products I feel like are made for her. This is the most lovely lip stain. It is glossy. It is hydrating. It isn't really thick. It isn't too creamy, but it has enough creaminess to give you good saturation and evenness to the stain. It lasts so well, but it's also not one of those lip stains that is just immediately red. Like a lot of lip stains, I was reading comments and it feels like a lot of you guys have had this experience too, that your lip stain, like no matter what one you put on, it just turns red. I love that it is very subtle. It feels perfect for every day. And again, some of these lip stains that do go super bright, impactful, peachy can feel not perfect for every day for some of us. And that's why I always go back to it. I always want to use it. The fact that I have so many lip stains and I've recommended this year after year should tell you guys enough. I just think it's fantastic. I also love the shade Dark Coconut, but this has been kind of my ride or die. Now, I actually tried out a lot of Korean and Japanese hair care this year, and I haven't found my holy grails yet, but if you're interested, I have a video where I talked about, for I think like 3 months, I used strictly Asian hair care. I would love to hear your favorites if you do have coarser, thicker hair like I do, because I did feel like my scalp was just not getting it clean enough when I was using those products. But just so you guys know, I do love trying out Asian hair care as a whole. So if you have any like Korean hair care favorites that you'd like me to try this upcoming year, definitely let me know and make sure you're subscribed if you're interested. And those were my favorite Korean products of 2025. I would also love to do a general Asian beauty roundup of my favorites from the year. I do find myself, for algorithm's sake, kind of getting pigeonholed into talking just about Korean beauty. But just know, I also went to Japan this year. I have so many Japanese favorites. I think Chinese beauty is doing something bonkers as far as especially their eyeshadows. And honestly, Judy Doll is like one of my favorite brands. I think they are such an incredible brand. So if you love all things Asian beauty, definitely make sure you are subscribed. I'm going to leave links down below. You can get everything that I talked about today at YesStyle and Judy Doll as well. Like, YesStyle has an incredible selection, like an obscene selection. Really, I don't think I would have been able to find and love the Korean beauty products that I have recommended in this year if it were not for YesStyle. I've been buying from YesStyle for a very, very, very long time. So it is always a dream to work with them. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I will see you in my next one.